Hi, good morning. Sorry it's taking me so long to get this video in. Once again, I'm in my classroom to record my video of what we've been talking about. So my eyes will kind of go back and forth to the transcript that I have on my screen. But just to recap, I know we are talking about plea bargain debate. So I have a few things I'd like to share. First things first, explain the plea bargain process. Plea bargaining involves the defendant pleading guilty to a lesser charge or to only one of the several charges at arraignment. According to my research that I've been doing, the Bureau of Justice Assistance typically this is a maximum charge or a punishment that the defendant will face as he or she goes to trial. This is an argument between the defendant and the prosecutor, and in which they plead guilty or non-contest in exchange of the agreement by the prosecutor to drop one or more charges, reduce the charge, or recommend to the judge a specific sentence. So just to kind of talk in reference to that, when you go to court, you have an option for a plea bargain. They give you a sentence that's going to be for you. And if that sentence is something that you don't want with you and your attorney, then that's something that you will actually, submit to the court to ask for either a lesser charge or time served. It just depends on the situation of that time. The next topic is list the elements of a valid plea bargain. In my research, a valid plea bargain I found depended on at least three essential components. So you have charge bargaining, count bargaining, and sentence bargaining. So if you break those down, charge bargaining is when a defendant pleads guilty to a less serious crime than the one originally imposed. So, with the defendant pleading guilty, they're asking for a lesser sentence than what was already given to them at the beginning of arraignment. Then you have count bargaining, which this is when a defendant pleads guilty to a fewer number of charges. So I feel in that case, when it comes down to count bargaining, that the prosecutor or defendant, whichever one is up, is actually looking at what are we actually charging that defendant for. Do we have to have all of those counts, to charge them with, or could it be a fewer number of charges? Because sometimes, you never know. You get a judge that might throw some things out because it might just be of a lesser crime and, slap on the hand, but the other ones is, kind of stiff or kind of hard, and to where you have to, be charged guilty for. And the last one was sentence bargaining. This is used when the defendants plead guilty knowing what sentence will be given. Sentence bargaining is, hey, I pleaded guilty. I'm just going to take the consequences. Whatever I'm sentenced, and that's just what I'm going to do. And once we go down a little bit here to define the role of a judge in plea bargaining processes. Reading about it, the judge role in plea bargaining is limited. It really kind of goes with the prosecution and the defense attorney, and they kind of work together. The judge just predetermines the sentence and approves it in reference to that, and the defendant accepts the plea bargain. I had wrote in my eyes of the federal judge, though, they retain final authority over sentencing decisions and not bound by prosecutors' recommendations as part of the plea bargain. So I think that's pretty cool, because that the federal judge, is a higher judge than just a county judge or city judge, but that decision is not bound by prosecution recommendations is actually what that judge says. The last one, second to the last, is create and provide an opinion on whether plea bargaining is a benefit to the United States criminal justice system and why. I said no. I feel that plea bargaining is giving to a person a chance to have a lesser sentencing when they have committed a crime. Maybe I'm a little on the hard side, but if you do the crime, then hey, you should do the time. Regardless of your time given, it should be a lesson learned. So if you've done that crime, I, and that's just my opinion. A slap on the hand sometimes is not going to get anybody anywhere. They really have to do some hard time to be able to know, hey, there's consequences when you do something harmful to someone. You know, if we start slapping those people on the hand for doing crimes, then that whole world, we're all going to be, it's going to be horrible. So I just feel like, that having a plea bargain shouldn't be something that's like on the top of the chart. It needs to be, here's your sentence, you did it, and it should stay that way. Last but not least, if you are against continuing plea bargaining, address arguments for its continued prevalence. Also, according to what I found about a necessary evil of plea bargaining, prosecutors are threatening defendants with increased charges or more severe sentences if they choose to go to trial. That's not fair. I don't feel like anyone should have that slapped on them. This sounds so illegal. In some situations, the state is essentially penalizing defendants who choose to exercise their constitutional rights to plea bargains and rewarding those who refrain from doing so. So, with all that being said, plea bargaining is a process, but to me, I feel like it should not be on the top of the chart when it comes down to court cases. That if you do the time, then you can do the crime. If you do the crime, then you can do the time. Thanks. Have a great day.